Hi, In The Naad. Today's guest is Ryan Encinas, a former licensed RN who made the medical decision to walk away from the conventional system, not because he stopped caring or believing, but because he started believing in a deeper way of healing, a more authentic way of healing. Ryan now participates holistically in an unapologetic commitment to truth. So, by stepping out of the system, he's reclaimed the freedom to speak critically and think independently. And on that note, let us begin. Hi, Ryan.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me. I was excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. As I was saying to you earlier, there is such an enormous wealth of information on your podcast. I mean, you could really create an education just from watching you.
I appreciate it. Working on it. 'Cause that's the whole problem, right? Is where we get our information and how do we have things that actually work for us? How do we reclaim our health sovereignty? Those are the two pillars I stand on are education and access, because there's plenty of people that can educate you on a disease or an issue, but not a lot of people that can educate you on a product or a protocol that actually works.
And I think miseducation is also common to this language. I love those 2 points. Let's start with those 2 points. Let's start with the broken healthcare system, what ideas, misideas people may have about it, and how to, for one, to seek actual good information. Where do we seek our knowledge?
I mean, knowledge comes from within. It's always there floating around the ether. The problem is we're conditioned since birth. As soon as we come out of the womb, our parents have already been conditioned by media, the medical system, marketing, big food. They're all paid by the same lobbyist to teach us the same things, to fall in line, get in with the system. And the New York Times just had an article showing that the healthcare system saved the US economy. That's not a good thing. To have more hospitals go up and have more medical treatment isn't a good thing because our medical system is so broken. It's the most profitable system to keep you in a system of symptom management and suppression.
Right. I'm not sure if it was you or not, but there was a great quote, and it's like, it's not a system, it's an economy. Healthcare is not a system, it's an economy.
Totally said that. And yes, great. 100%. It's by design. It's a system that is the number one business in America, the fastest growing business in America. There's more people paying their bills by being involved in healthcare in one way or form, whether that's insurance or provider or someone filing the paperwork, which I came from cancer research. I've worked in surgery for almost 20 years. So first assist, I've been a director of private surgical hospital. I've seen medical fraud on billing, surgeons saying they did this little surgery, add it to stack the bill, and been in medical sales and seeing the incredible markup. Like a bottle of wine is like 300% less at the grocery store than it is in the restaurant. Same thing, just because it's medical, they jack up the price hundreds and hundreds of times more than it should be.
There's no question. So my son is on this medicine called Spinraza, and it's $1 million a shot, and he gets 4 a year. Now the government does have to pay because it's considered life savings, but were it not, it would be impossible for kids to get their hands on it.
100%. And it's impossible for people to get their hands on a lot of information there. If you just trust the standard, trust the person in the white coat, they're only there with less than 6 hours of nutritional education information, less than 6 hours of training and education on vaccines that doesn't talk about any of the ingredients, side effects, possible risks. Zero. To relicense, you have to memorize the vaccine schedule, and that's it.
Right. It's almost impossible to find out what's in them as well. It's sort of like fracking. Like, we're at a dead end right there.
So the big shift we're seeing is get to the cell. Well, how does every single cell operate? It's not, you're not obese from a lack of Ozempic that's derived from lizard venom that's suppressing your appetite so you can starve and steal your nutrients from the rest of your body. That's why people look like they're from an internment camp. The real thing is metabolic health. So it's a good place to start is, what does metabolic mean? It's not just how fast you burn fat and fuel. That's the standard protocol they want you to think. It's like calories is the worst system for diet ever. It's a measurement of heat. has nothing to do with nutrient density. 100 calories from a Diet Coke is completely different than 100 calories from berries. And all the phytonutrients and minerals and antioxidants and polyphenols, carotenoids come with it. What metabolic means is how every single cell operates, from protein, minerals, vitamins, antioxidants, fiber, and fat. Doesn't matter what human you are, what corner of the globe you come from, your religious belief or dietary, preference, you have to get all those things. Doesn't matter. And there is a natural way and a supplement way to get all of those things. But the real issue is no one's measuring these things. When we measure lab work, we're measuring inflammatory markers, we're measuring parts of the immune system, we're measuring organ stress from the blood. And blood is a transport system between cells. You're built out of a whole network of cells, and each cell operates off of those 6 things, but we're not measuring those 6 things. We're not taking.
Is it communication of the right? It's communication, right? And so we don't realize that a cell can be starving, even though it can look healthy.
That is the definition of metabolic disease. I'm so glad you said that. It's cellular starvation. And 95% of every labeled disease and diagnostic is cellular starvation. What causes all those lab markers to be off? There's only 2 reasons. And that is toxin overload that you can't avoid because of the modern world, and chronic nutrient deficiency. And it's never just one nutrient. You can't outrun bad fuel. It doesn't matter if you're trying to biohack your way out of this with methylene blue and hyperbaric chambers and all these things. Those are great. They're great modalities in a pinch, but nothing replaces the 6 essentials of protein, minerals, vitamins, antioxidants, fiber, and fat.
Could those 6 things override the damage that glyphosate is doing to our body?
They can absolutely help. I mean, I work with clients in food deserts and all they can shop at is Walmart. I still get them off of meds, because when you have more of the good in your body, you're increasing your detox pathways, you're increasing the barrier integrity of your gut lining that glyphosate destroys. And you can do that through natural extracts that are actually listed in the physician's desk reference and have been for a long time. But remember, pharma funds the syllabus, the lobbyists for all these things. So no one's taught about it. Even though that information is there, you can't just go on Google and find it. It's on the 8th, 10th page behind paywalls and promotions.
Is there a correction in sight?
100%. This little device right here behind me measures nutrient absorption inside your cell the same way that the pulse oximeter works. When you go to the hospital, people want to know your blood pressure, they want to know your temperature, they want to know your heart rate, and they want to know your oxygen saturation in real time. You go to the ER or any hospital unit, that little red light on your finger is measuring oxygen in real time inside your cells. It's utilizing Nobel Prize winning physics from the 30s, really old stuff when the Nobel Prize meant something. And it's utilized in high-end labs to measure down to the molecule. So this device here measures, with that same technology, nutrient absorption, cell membrane permeability, how everything gets in and out of every single cell. Those are your detox.
What's the name of that machine?
The biophotonic scanner. It's a mouthful and it's very expensive. It's a $100,000 device. There's only 5,000 of them in the world right now. I teach providers how to use this as a vital sign. We're going to measure your nutrient intake inside your cells, not just what you're eating, but your ability to absorb it, which can be impacted by that glyphosate, aluminum, all these other things, adjuvants that are in the vaccines, toxins that they're spraying in the air. And you go to a park and you're in sports, it's all over the grass on the field. Golf courses have it everywhere. You can't avoid
Rain.
but we can measure and make sure you're actually getting enough. Specifically, what we're measuring is the fruit and vegetable intake, but it's also the antioxidant matrix. Do you have enough antioxidants inside your cell to protect from free radical damage? Because every metabolic issue you're talking about is increased inflammation, gut permeability, PCOS, thyroid, liver. It doesn't matter. It's all chronic nutrient deficiency that doesn't provide enough ability to mitigate that stress. But we can measure that, and it's a 2-month measurement. It's not just what you ate today.
You have to follow for 2 months. And so now, hold on. So are you saying that autoimmune, cancer, any of these diseases that live off inflammation, which in my opinion is the majority, are ultimately a result of deficiency of nutrients within the cellular structure?
Yes, and toxin exposure.
Right. And toxin exposure, we just have to try to mitigate. We cannot cure.
Yeah. I mean, that only 5% of all diagnoses that you ever see are rare genetic issues. Now, like everyone's up in arms about MTFHR. Oh, I need methylated everything. It's not true. That actually course
Is that the blue methylate? Is that what that is?
kind of like methylated B12. Everyone
Okay.
heavily marketed and pushed all over the place. And just as a frame of reference, when you work with geneticists, we don't understand a lot. We have to use AI machine learning to understand these pathways. 183 million genes. We only understand a few pathways. MTFHR is one of them, histamine, sulfur, nitrous oxide. You can't just say, I have MTFHR or I don't. That's completely incorrect. So, a little education from here, you have multiple genes on that MTFHR pathway. You can have multiple mutations in multiple spots. So, it's how many mutations you have, where they're at, that impact the severity of it. But no knowledge exists currently as to how those genes interact with other genes. You're still guessing, but you're not your genes. That's the whole issue. What's inherited and passed down are those nutrient deficiencies. I don't.
What you're talking about is overriding one's genes, composition.
Yep.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. It's just like
Yeah, I agree.
trauma's passed down inherently. So is nutrient deficiencies, heavy metal toxins. Like I don't absorb as much vitamin A as the average person. I have a mutation for that. That was passed down because somewhere up my lineage, someone got too much of it and a gene turned on and I was passed down that gene.
Right, but it doesn't impact you to the extreme that people say you're not doomed because your mental, your thoughts, your lifestyle, all of these change your DNA. We are completely capable of changing our DNA.
Your thoughts change your DNA. They're not thoughts. Everything is a quantum biochemical input. Magnetic fields are, the sunlight is radiation. People believe in Wi-Fi and EMF, but think frequency is woo-woo. It's not. Like that pulse ox.
Frequency is the future of our medicine.
Correct. And that's all we're doing is we're harmonizing every single cell in your body. That's what.
Which then harmonizes the chakras, which then harmonizes the glandular system, which sort of resets the body and has it humming where it should be.
Yep. It's just you.
In that.
A different for whoever you're talking to. Is it harmony, alignment, homeostasis? All the same thing.
All the same thing.
Yeah. And it's diet. The word diet. Everyone, what type of diet do you eat, Ryan? What type of diet should I eat? Well, my diet's different than your diet. Number one, just eat more colors. That's how you get these phytonutrients that are more important than the calories. But diet, the meaning of the word diet, we go to etymology, the study of language, Latin, Hebrew pictographs, the oldest languages that we have records of that's available to the public. It actually reads out the definition, way of life. I have a plan that everything that I take in, that I assimilate, that makes me breathe easier, restrict all else, and then my purpose is found. That's the meaning of the word diet. So there's a psyops on connotation through media, through influencers, through marketing, through the healthcare system, where everyone's arguing about the right diet. But it's very unethical for me to tell someone if they should eat meat or not, because I don't know their genetics. They could come from a lineage of Indian or Asian that haven't eaten meat for millions of years, or vice versa. People that had more meat in their diet. There's a degree of mess around and find out you have to play with, but diet is restrict everything that does not serve you. Turn off the news. Stop listening to lyrics with, music with bad lyrics. Stop doom scrolling. Stop participating in conversations and relationships that don't serve you. And above all else, your inner dialogue. How do you start to change your DNA? With belief. Do you believe that you can heal? Do you believe that you can return to the normal balance, harmony, alignment, homeostasis of health? It's the most natural thing on the planet.
The placebo is real for a reason. Yeah. I mean, we do double-blinded tests for a reason.
Yeah.
The power of the mind is enormous. I mean, I think Joe Dispenza built a career on this.
100%. And so did all religion. And when you
precisely
study all religion, in my mind, I'm a reductionist. So look at the fractal patterns, whether they're macro or micro, they're all the same. And so when you talk about religion, belief in love, and it's love outside of yourself, part of consciousness. So do you love yourself? There's only three things in all religion: unlearn fear, more love, learn how to love yourself, learn how to love others more. Because we need community. I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. I'm not the genius who discovered all these things. I'm pulling it all together and using my voice because the universe told me that I have to speak up and stop getting an education. I never wanted to be on a podcast. I never wanted to be in front of a camera. I just wanted to help people. That's why I got into the medical system and started a career at the #1 cancer hospital in the nation. Now,
So like I said earlier, your career path reminds me a lot of my favorite, Zach Bush. I mean, I see a lot of you in him. Um, which is great.
huge compliment,
Right?
and thank you. Humbled by.
Right, it is a huge compliment. I'm just so obsessed, like beyond. Um, but he talks about a lot about the biome, the stomach biome, and how I guess it's is it its own brain? It's certainly an indication. And when you talk about, going with your gut instincts, you're not joking. I think people don't understand that that's a real thing.
Yeah, I mean,
The gut is a
you
brain.
have more bacteria in your body than you have cells in your body. You're outnumbered by the bacteria in your gut. And the more diverse that ecosystem is, the better your mood, the better your ability to manage stress, the more clear you think, the better you can detox pathogens, whether they're bacterial, because I'm a terrain theory guy, or
I am too, by the way.
or other toxins. So yes, it's a synergy relationship. The problem is we used to have one doctor 100 years ago that did everything, delivered the babies, set a broken bone, treated infections, looked at your eyes and ears. Now it's all segmented into these different specialists to try and separate the body all over the place. Nothing works in isolation. No one's just deficient in magnesium or potassium. They're definitely not deficient in a synthetic peptide that's Big Pharma 2.0. You're deficient in a matrix of nutrients inputs that include love, diet, relationship, but it's that relationship with the earth. So the Latin word for soil is humus, which is a derivative. It's how we get human, and it's also how we get humility. We're supposed to be, this vessel was a
It's beautiful.
vessel of this earth.
These nutrients that you sell or you recommend on your podcast, what are they called again?
So
It's a powder form, I think.
there's a lot of different ones I talk about. The majority of them are made by Pharmanex, and we have 70 full-time scientists that left Big Pharma. The 3 founders invented several huge drugs, statins, Rapamune for organ transplant, even birth control. That's Michael Chang, Joe Chang, and Carl deGrassi. Still our chief scientific officer and leads our company with more scientific credibility than any other supplement company on the planet. We actually set the GMP standards for the whole nutritional space. We're the first supplements ever to be listed in the physician's desk reference over 30 years ago. Never had a single recall, work in 50 countries. Everything is vertical integration. We have soil scientists. We're testing for stability, which no one talks about in the supplement space. How do you know that it's bioactive, clean down to parts per billion with high-end labs, and we're not white labeling some other stuff? Run if you see one doctor on the label or things like that. Most of these companies are just white labeling and pushing something that's formulated by one scientist on loan, not a full-time scientific staff. It's a very different ball game to be listed in the physician's desk reference. That's the Trojan horse. That's how the paradigm shift is happening, because we can't tear down the whole system. There would be war and chaos and all this stuff, and the powers that be still don't want that to some degree. So we introduced a nutritional absorption diagnostic test that no one has, and we've tested 20 million people.
And what's that called?
That's the biophotonic scanner. And that's how.
Oh, so that's the only way to get the results, the accurate results.
There are other people that are trying, that are having technologies to do it, but none of them have the clinical validation. And when you're dealing with healthcare, when you're dealing with scientists, they want to see the studies. We didn't create the device. The NIH created it for disease risk assessment, and it was first.
So is it FDA approved?
It is, and they didn't know how to classify it.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's shocking.
So that's the problem. It's a $100,000 device. There's only 3,000 in America, but next year, this 25-year project that has tested 26 million people's nutrient absorption in their cells will be available in your home, in the palm of your hand, a very small device that everyone can just put their finger on and test their nutrient absorption levels, their risk for disease, and their antioxidant protection. And it's
Is that yours?
No, this is a Forbes top 100 company with zero debt for 40 years. They're international.
You got to get behind one of these, babe.
I'm excited to have one.
That's your next gig.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's 25 additional patents on it. There's 25 other nutritional intracellular measurements coming to the device, pushed to software updates. It will also incorporate genetic and GI mapping into one app that is protected. We've never shared health information. Our database is a market advantage. It's silly for us from multiple ways and levels, but get your nutrition right before you run off and get on a medication that the symptom was caused by nutrition deficiency.
Is this the wave of the future?
It's already here. I mean, we've been around for 25 years. It's just hard to break in. But now we can mass produce this thing. We've been working with Full Power AI, MIT on the CRM to educate people.
Don't you think, like, post-fodemic, people are enormously willing to hear, whereas in the past you just couldn't get their ear? There was nothing you could do. You'd leave the house and they'd all be saying how crazy you.
Huge shift. I mean, and the same thing's happening right now. Like 1986, you had all vaccines got immune from legal liability. What's happening right now? Well,
That was incredible. Could you imagine? And people not like, where's the critical thinking?
and
Where is the critical thinking? If that wasn't enough, there are so many individual rules that went into play that were enough. But the amassing of all of them, it's just incredible to me that people couldn't pick up on these cues. And by the way, many still don't. There is a huge transformation, but it's certainly not America at large.
No, and American Academy of Pediatrics just made a push this week to get rid of all religious and medical exemptions for vaccinations. Like, what's next? You're going to hold us down and stab us line by line?
Well, yeah, I think that those people who got away, first of all, I think they're on to people who got away the first time. And they're not going to let that happen again. And as I think you and I both believe, there's going to be a next time.
100%. Well, they're coming at it from different angles. So,
oh yeah, for sure. But I'm always hip to, once you see this stuff, you can't unsee.
and that's what's happening.
You're like, here they
So,
go.
pesticides. You have 85 chemicals that are foreignly made and have direct links to Hodgkin's lymphoma and all these things, but you can't. They're pushing for legal liability immunity right now. It's being snuck in.
It's the same thing with fracking. You're not allowed to know what is in any of these materials. God forbid you try to research it.
Yep.
But it's really hard to shut people down now. People know what they want. Our voices are loud. They're banging down doors. I don't think there's any putting the genie back in the bottle, do you?
Not at all. I think, a lot of doctors, it's the training and it's the golden handcuffs of nurses, doctors, any licensed provider. They have to fall in line with an algorithmic licensure. And if they don't prescribe or treat in those flow charts, then they're at risk for losing their license, their ability to make money. A lot of them are crippled by the debt to get that license. So,
and then the carrot and the stick, which we all know what those are. But what did I just want to ask you? Yeah, I think it's complex for these doctors, but there a lot of them you find putting themselves on the line.
That more are, and it's the entrepreneurs. Like, I think no matter what we do in life, we're here to create. Because we were created, so that's the way that you can show respect to the creator, whatever you believe that is. Universe, God, doesn't matter. It's, what are you going to create? Some people, it's just creating music, beautiful art, a family, a better financial system, growing better food, better health information. That's my life's path. Just create something so that we have more information and access available to people. But it's hard because we have to learn how to have legal double talk because of the Flexner report and all things that happened with the medical establishment. Medicine does not recognize nutrition as treatment, diagnostic, or prevention from a diagnosis. So now we have to say, I can't talk about the specific disease. I can talk about the mechanisms of action, how that disease works, and I can show the nutritional compound and extracts that are therapeutic doses that improve that. I can show all those studies, but I can't say the word cure. I can say improve symptoms of.
Right. Do you think, where do you get your food? Where do you get your
Like
healthy?
anyone else, I do the best I can. Farmers markets when available, food shares, people that buy cows together, or raw milk. Some people, see the Amish mafia and stuff like that. But
Right. So that's what you do. You do what you all do.
and then when I can't, I still do the best. I mean, when I have a client that doesn't have access to that stuff and they're in the middle of a food desert and they're only shopping at Walmart, you still get more of the good nutrients by eating whole food. Even if it's not organic, it's still doing better than eating processed food. If your only options are processed food and a non-organic apple, eat the non-organic apple. Clean it, wash it as best you can. You're going to have far more in your body. It's the balance. Those things help with all your detox pathways, with your cell membrane permeability. You do the best you can because not everyone's there. It's not widely available. My plan is to help with that, help create resources so people can see what's around them.
What about stuff to relieve your body of the biotoxins? Do you think that those are dangerous?
They're essential because we
The binders I'm talking
it's
about.
metal chelation
Yeah.
binders. I mean, Zach Bush's own ion is great. I've used that before. There's other ones.
Oh, it's
out-
great. From the old soil, right?
And I actually use Beam Minerals, which is very similar and less expensive product, and in my opinion, a little bit better of a binder. It's it's humate. It's
Interesting.
what he's using. It's the natural humate. Most people have heard of Shilajit. If you haven't, it's a Ayurvedic medicine that's been around for thousands of years. It's a black tar at the top of Siberian and Himalayan mountains that you have to mine. So you're kind of hurting the environment. I get it, and there's so many people making it, but it contains all this fulvic and humic and all these minerals on the periodic table. It has to be cleaned and pulled the heavy metals that are toxic to us out. Now, humate is different. That's at the top of the mountain. Give it another million years, and it's underneath the Earth's crust. And it's not a tar. All the fluid has evaporated, and now it's a rock. And those heavy metals have become inert. You don't have to process humate. And it's actually what we used to use as fertilizer 80 and 100 years ago. They called it mineral rock or rock dust. It's humate, or leonardate is another name for it. It's how you got all the minerals back into the soil, into the microbes, into our plants, into our animals, into us. And it's a powerful, powerful chelator, a binder. So that's something that holds on to the heavy metals and pulls them out of the cell. But it will only do that if it's given the right amount of the other minerals need, because the body's
Right. You've got to replenish what you take out. That's what makes them dangerous, is that people aren't
things like
replenishing.
zeolite and bentonite clay, they do that. I mean, charcoal is a powerful binder, and it's used in emergency medicine when someone has a drug overdose or alcohol poisoning, but it soaks up everything. It doesn't care.
Right. So, for example, during the fires, we used
Humate
them.
is intelligent. Humate changes its form, and its molecular structure is actual a Fibonacci spiral. It's intelligent, and we don't know why. It's been studied for hundreds of years, but it goes into the cell, binds to a heavy metal, and drops off the correct mineral that it's supposed to use in place. It's a very safe way to chelate and bind the aluminum that you're breathing every day, that's sprayed in our air constantly, and the other things like barium, strontium, all those things. Uh,
That's why I like biological medicines, because I think they are intelligent. I mean, even if you go to the mycelium and the iboga and the various poisons, I mean, they have intelligence and they know where to go to heal the body.
I'm a huge fan of
And I think it's a
psychedelic medicines. Not for everyone. Some people have serotonin
of course,
mutation.
of course.
Well, I've worked with shamans. I have shaman lineage in my DNA from Oaxaca with mushrooms, and the
Oh, interesting. Are you Mexican?
I'm a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Got a little bit of it all. Strong DNA, strong constitution.
Yeah, mutts make the best dogs. And
They do. And they live
a
forever.
real shaman is trained in two things their entire life. They're trained in their people's nutrition, their microbiome, all of the plants and nutritional components of those plants. then they're also trained how to hold space for someone during that experience when your channels are open, and to not imprint. They're to remind you that you're safe. Whatever you're seeing is meant for you. Now, the issue when you talk to a shaman is they don't understand all the Westerners. They can't help us because we're so dysregulated with all these lack of nutrients and toxins. But when you study the science of how these psychedelics work inside the cell and your brain, your neurons, they're like having a bolus, a massive amount of SSRIs, anxiety and depression medications with a psychoactive component. But what those do is completely deplete you of really key minerals that most people are already deficient in. When we talk about integration and how do I come back from dealing in that space, you're already at a depleted state, and no one worked with you beforehand for a couple months to get you to an optimal harmony, alignment, homeostasis, where you're decalcifying when the medicine is more powerful because you have more of the signal that's coming clear. But when you're depleted to begin with, it just dropped you off a cliff. So that integration becomes so much harder because your microbiome wasn't there, your mineral matrix wasn't there, your antioxidants weren't there. So now it's so hard to come back from that massive experience, both on a psychological, existential, and a physical nutrient, metabolic function level.
But it is doable because guess who did it?
Yeah,
Yours
it's the
truly.
same. I got to shaman my shaman.
I did it.
It's very powerful medicine, but you have to
Get off the SRIs and you have to start doing, look, you have to have the chi moving through your body, right? Energy moving through the body. Depression closes off all of that. And you have to, you have to fight to be happy. A lot of us have to fight harder than others, it's but
it's a
it's doable.
perspective shift, and I like to use
It's a perspective shift and it's a
I like
fix.
to use shift because you're not, no one's broken. Your perspective is it. There's two things that coincide always: difficulty and opportunity. Every single opportunity comes with challenges, and every single opportunity, those challenges are growth. Those two.
I like heart and mind alignment as well because that keeps
Yeah.
you on the right path. It's really easy to veer off in these days. You hear doctor people spewing stuff, and you just hard to tell what's right and wrong. And you have to go with your gut, as we've discussed, and also educate yourself. I mean, there's such a huge lack of epistemology these days.
Gut and
And
so a lot of people ask, well, how do you know if it's your gut? I have a really simple thing that works most of the time. Ego is there to protect us. It is. It's an evolutionary standpoint. You're afraid of dark.
it is. It's
So
one of the 10
it's
bodies.
dark. It's
Protects you
so
from the negative.
because those wouldn't cause harm. And
Keeps you skeptical.
it's a pattern thing to keep you in the same pattern. You're not dying, so you're safe. So sometimes that pattern is dysfunctional patterns. But how do you know the difference between your gut instinct, a voice from God, the universe, or your ego? The ego questions: should we be doing this? Is this the right thing? Are you really doing this again? Where that gut feeling, that universal signal that's coming from within somewhere, is a resounding, without a doubt,
You
or no.
you literally feel it.
Don't walk down that alleyway. Don't get in the car with that person. It's resounding. That's how you tell the difference between your gut and your ego.
Yeah. It's learning how to listening to that resonance. And I think people are becoming way more in tune with their bodies. Why? Because we have to. Nobody's teaching us. And the more we listen to people like you, the more we learn, and your voice stays in the back of our head. Every time we want to take an aspirin, every time we want to put an antibiotic into our bodies. So, we're grateful for voices like yours who put themselves on the line and come out. And I think, especially you, it seems like you have a younger audience, which is so great to see because it means you're catching the attention of people who need to hear, our future teachers, our future doctors. So thank you for that. And I just love you. I want to be your friend now. Um, how do people find you? Your website is unbelievable. It's just it doesn't stop. You could any time of the day, man. You want information, you go on that thing and it is shooting it at you. You're obviously doing a lot of work on
Started.
that.
There's so much more coming to help people with regenerative farming, whether that's herbs in their windowsill, backyard, a raised vegetable garden, or if you have a 1,000-acre farm. I'm working with soil scientists, AI chatbot that will tell you everything you need to know about that. Water filtration, air filtration, detox. These are all things being actively built out right now. That's why the name is Holistic Hub, and it's theholistichub.org. So just getting started. The focus is teaching providers and the public about real nutritional protocols that have all the clinical studies on the product that can impact your cell function. It helped a lot of people get off of meds. And it's just a conversation. Meet them where they're at. Am I talking to a PhD? Am I talking to a doctor? Am I talking to the average person?
Meet them where they're at.
It took me a long time to develop that language. And now
You can reach anybody because you've learned. Do you ever make it to LA? I feel like you'd be very popular
I
here.
was born in Ventura and my dad was in Culver City my entire childhood. So I went back and forth between Houston and LA. I love California. A very special place in the world that has mountains and beaches, right? And yeah,
And open-mindedness to some degree. I do think that if you come, like I would love to have a salon here and have guests and have you on a panel because I think you're smart, you're fascinating, and you have a message. You're
yeah,
going to make sure it gets out there, and that's what we need. We
I
need
love it.
more of
Happy to
you.
participate, and we do. And it's not just me, it's bigger than me. So I'm training other people how to do the exact same thing. It's not just me. I have to replicate, we have to scale the information and the access to these tools and resources. So I'm just one person. And yes, it's a long work to build out, replications and software and all that stuff, but you need more feet on the ground. Nothing's better than person to person communication, building that community, that trust by giving someone a hug, looking them in the eye, feeling that authenticity resonate and harmonize with the person you're talking to, letting them be seen, felt, heard. I mean, the simple act of asking any patient, how's their pain today, improves the metric of pain with no other intervention. It's the same for your emotional pain, physical.
Isn't that incredible?
You got to be there to acknowledge it. Doesn't mean you need a solution right away. Just saying, man, that's a lot. Thank you for sharing that. Like, I'm here for you.
Well, I'm so grateful to have you on. Please let's stay in touch. And I'll be
You
sure
want?
to send this on.
Can't wait. I can't wait to meet in person. And yeah,
I can't either.
I love
I can't either. I'm so excited. I have a
you
new
so
friend.
much.